Yo, what's up? It's Durant, and today in this video, I'm gonna show you um, my what I use for rating. This is a Rogue DPS spreadsheet for PVE. It's a very helpful tool. It's gonna be, it's gonna help you if you're getting into rating, if you're into rating rather, and you're trying to figure out what um, the best pre-bis raid gear is gonna be, or if you're trying to find out how much DPS you should be doing with your current setup, or if you're trying to figure out um, what the best gear choices would be for you going forward as you progress through Molten Core and BWL. So I'm going to be going over all the tabs that are available in the spreadsheet and also where you can get your hands on the spreadsheet and if you want to follow along. So, like I said, this is pretty much just for Rogue PVE from a Rogue's perspective here, and it's going to be a real helpful tool for you if you're getting into rating. So if you want um, to get a hold of the sheet, there's going to be a link below the video. It's actually a link to a Discord channel, and it's called, let me see here, let me pull it up. It's the Rogue Classic Discord channel. Has lots of good information on it other than just the spreadsheet you can see here. Lots of valuable stuff. Macros, top specs, PvE or PvP. So I highly recommend you get into this channel if you're really into the rogue class. So just go to the link below the video. Once you get there, join the Discord and go down the DPS spreadsheets. As you can see here, it has information. Has actually a couple spreadsheets that you can choose from, and also information on how to use them. Um, the one that I'm showing you right now is the spreadsheet by Garcia. Shout out to Garcia, wherever you are. This spreadsheet is pretty damn good, and what I found to be the most accurate out of the two. You can also try out Blood Moon spreadsheet. It's a little has a little more graphics, a little more visual. Might be easier for some of you to use. I personally like Garcia's here, as you can see here, just plain numbers and does, like I said, pretty accurate calculations. And in order to use the spreadsheets correctly, you're going to need to download WPS, which is a free spreadsheet viewer. Um, but if you're going to be using um, Garcia's, I recommend uh, to get Microsoft Excel. That way you can use the macros that he has set up, which will do the auto calculations for you, and it'll work correctly. Because if you don't have Excel, you won't be able to use the macros and won't calculate the DPS differences correctly. So make sure if you're going to be using Garcia's and follow along to um, have Microsoft Excel, you can use it, get a trial going. Just sign up for a email, a new Gmail, and then get your trial going. Or you can try out the you know, um, WPS. Also, you can try out OpenOffice.org, but actually tried that. It didn't work for me. So just get Excel if you're going to be using Garcia's. So now I'm going to go over the gear choices or the tab, sorry, and show you how to use the spreadsheet so that you can go ahead and find out uh, what the best gear would be for you going forward, or where you're at with your current setup and what DPS you should be pulling and what specs and rotations you should be using in those specs. So I'm just going to turn off my webcam. All right, here we are in the Rogue spreadsheet simulator. I'm going to go over this really quick because I tend to ramble. So it's all pretty self-explanatory. I'm just going to gloss over the tabs you have. You can see gear, talents, damage calculator, and cycles. All right. The main ones that all you have to worry about is the gear and talents, obviously. And pretty much how you use this spreadsheet. Let's see. You can see I already have my setup here. You can go down here and you can check out all the all the builds that are preloaded in here. As you can see, Shadowcraft, pre-raid bis, daggers, swords, and etc. So If you want to see like how much DPS all these um, pre-raid bis, how much they all do, you can just select them and hit save DPS. You can see what daggers, um, okay, combat daggers. You can see that with the Shadowcraft pre-raid bis, I pull 628 DPS. And then with my current gear, you can see the difference there. So, like I said, pretty self-explanatory. All you're gonna do is just go through each piece, and you can input your gear here, and then it'll just, once you got all your gear inputted and selected in the drop downs and with the correct enchants and everything, just make sure to hit save DPS to get the correct DPS number. Also, if you're trying to figure out, going back and forth between swords and daggers, and you're trying to figure out if swords is better than daggers, make sure to select, um, you know, to change the talents when you're selecting the gear. So if you're doing swords in here, make sure to change the talents to swords before saving your DPS, because it will throw it off if you have like, um, if you're doing, sword gear, and then you have, daggers talents selected. It's gonna, fuck everything up. So make sure that if you're doing swords, you got swords talent selected. If you're doing daggers, you got the dagger talent selected. So, like I said, it's just going to be these two tabs that you're going to be most worried about. Just make sure you have everything inputted in here correctly, and make sure to hit save DPS. And then if you want to save your current gear, you just hit save gear, and then I will actually, sorry, where is this? I don't know where the new gear. Of course, when I want to do this on, holy shit, I do this on video. But you get the point. You can actually hit save. When you do a different setup, you can just hit save here and then make a name for it. I'm not going to go through that. Then just make sure you input your boss buffs. It's pretty, again, self-explanatory. Um, we all use five Sunders, Sun Armor, Curse of Recklessness, Shadow. You get the point. Also for raid buffs, again, just put in whatever raid buffs you use. These are typical ones. And you can also input the world buffs and also horde buffs here, and alliance buffs. I just take them off because like to get a more accurate number. Consumables, you can input that. I mean, this thing is pretty beastly and detailed. Excuse me. You can see you can input your mongoose greater agility buffs if you want to see how much DPS you're going to be doing. But I turn that off just so I can, like I said, get it more accurate of where I would be just using raid buffs and my current gear. And that's pretty much it. You go, like I said, self-explanatory. You go through and put all your gear. And the cool thing about this also is you can use the macros on the side here to determine your upgrades. So like if you have a distracting dagger, make sure to save, and then say, okay, I want to figure out what all the upgrades are, all the possible upgrades are for distracting dagger. It'll go through and do that, and then you can hover over the red arrow here, and boom, it'll show you at a quick glance, all the daggers that are going to be upgrades for you. You can see Alcor's Bone Scraper, Corehound's Tooth. So say, oh yeah, I want a Corehound's Tooth, man. Um, go that, boom. You can see that, okay, now you know it's going to be a 13.49, DPS increase with my current gear. So hit save. So now I'm going to say to myself, yeah, I want that. I want the Corehound's Tooth, right? So you see how this is going to be helpful in determining what is going to be upgraded for you in your current setup. And also, if you have like multiple pieces and combinations, you can figure out what the best combination is going to be for you, by inputting that, and just like playing around with different things. Like for example, like I found out that the even though Bloodfang Hood at first glance looks like it has better stats, oh, that's chest. Um, I figured out by using this that Night Slayer cover is gonna be better. So if I select the Blood Fang hood, you can see it's gonna be a 2 DPS loss. So I was like, all right, I'm going to use the Night Slayer instead. So that's pretty much how you can determine what gear is gonna be better for you. And that's pretty much it. Also, one last thing is this spreadsheet also helps you determine your optimal combo point usage. Um, and you can see with the combat dagger spec um, and my current gear setup, it says that um, the best combo point usage would be 5 combo points, slice and dice. So how do I know that? If you go to the info tab, you can see what do the numbers and letters in the cycle mean, and you can see the numbers are number of instant attacks you should use to build the combo points, and the letters are what they mean. See, S means slice and dice, E for eviscerate, R for rupture, and you can use that as like a gauge to kind of see what your optimal rotation and combo points usage should be. Now, this could be wrong. Like I said, most people like to use like slice and dice right away, get that up, get that white damage going. But that's for you to test and for you to try out with your current setup to see what is the best and what can get you the most DPS. So that's pretty much it. Like I said, just remember when you're changing your gear, always hit save DPS. Also, always make sure that your talents are matched up to your current gear. If you're using swords, have the talents at swords. If you're using daggers, have the talents at daggers. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it. So if you like this kind of content, make sure to like and subscribe to my channel because I'm going to be doing more uh, PvE stuff specifically from a rogue perspective. So, it might help you out. Also, I'll be doing PvP videos, so make sure to check those out. And that's pretty much it. I'll see you in the next video.